money right was yesterday. The next best time is today. I know, I get it. I've been there. Credit card debt, bills piling up, and not taking those calls. I was making good money, but still living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't know what I didn't know. I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. Can you relate? But I have good news. You can take action today. It's not too late. Hi, I'm Dignity Coach MarieYolaine, and I am here to empower you to reclaim dignity in your finances.
Hey, everybody. I'm still saying Happy New Year because I'm excited about this new year. So spend the whole month saying Happy New Year. So if no one has said Happy New Year to you, Happy New Year. So this year, I am stepping out of my comfort zone and doing a bunch of new and exciting things. And one of those things is skating. So I have struggled wanting to skate for years. And by that, I mean ice skating, by the way, if I didn't say it. So from afar, I've looked at the ice skaters. I've watched it on the Olympics. And I'm like, man, I would love to learn how to do that. But I would do it once, and then that's it. And I realized that the issue wasn't skating. My struggle was with learning to skate. I just want to skate. I didn't want to learn how to skate. So that was a revelation. So I started taking it 2 weeks ago. I've had my second class, and something interesting happened in the second class. Just about 10 minutes before everything was about to be done, there was something that she was showing us how to do, how to stop on gliding the scale across and just kind of like stop on the ice. So I was trying to do it. I slipped and I fell back. And two things happened. One, I was surprised. The second thing was, in that moment, I realized that I was trying to avoid falling down at all costs. Like I was not going to fall. Like I purposed that in my mind. But that put up a huge obstacle and barrier for me because of the fact that I didn't want to fall. But how am I going to learn if I don't fall? Even the best skaters I've seen fall. But what's important is that they get back up and then they try again, wipe off the ice and try again because they're trying to learn a skill. Michael Phelps, the multi-decorated, I think 14 gold medals swimmer, said that he had to gulp a lot of pool water before he learned how to swim and become the swimmer that we all know as the Olympian. And I take that to heart. And I say that, like, you got to drink a lot of pool water before you're able to swim. So it's not if you're going to struggle, it's when you're going to struggle. And what are you going to struggle over? And how are you going to manage that struggle? So I'm struggling now to learn how to skate, but my struggle is one of liberation and of freedom. I like let go and let God, because I realize that my struggle has an endpoint. By March, I will know how to skate much better than I do now in January. If I continue to struggle, continue to fall down, get back up, continue to go as I'm feeling like I'm losing my balance, but then use the skills that my teacher is telling me, which is put your hands on your thighs, regain your balance, regain your confidence, regain your composure, right? But those things are not go to the store and get a can of confidence. Getting confidence is because you did not have it before and you're gaining it. So what I want to say is that if you are struggling, whatever you are struggling with, because it could be anything, right? Whatever you're struggling with, Lean into the struggle. Lean into it. Lean into it. For me, it's just turning it over to God. So that's what I do. And I ask you to reflect on what you don't want to struggle with is what you should struggle with, to learn the skill or the lesson and move on. I give my struggles to God. What struggle do you need to give to God today? So sometimes we struggle because we carry grief over time, efforts, or opportunities that we feel were wasted. I want you to know that God sees every season that you've mourned, that you felt frustrated, that you felt like you can't go back because you're too old now, or the time has passed, or it's expired. These are all lies. Nothing is invisible to God, and nothing is beyond his reach. So please do not think it's too late. It is never too late. If you found this episode, then clearly you made a soul cry, and here's your answer. Welcome to Money Talks Live. Money Talks Live is a weekly conversation where we talk about money without shame, fear, or judgment. I'm Coach MarieYolaine, your dignity coach, and I'm the founder of Focused Fire. This is a space for professionals and entrepreneurs who are smart, educated, capable, and doing so much, yet still feel stressed, uncertain, or stuck when it comes to money. Today, we're starting the year with truth. Because if you've ever asked yourself, why am I still struggling with money? This conversation is for you. So let's get started. So let's just talk about why are smart, capable professionals and entrepreneurs still struggling with money? And how do we reclaim our financial power without shame? Right? So if you're still struggling with money, you're not alone. I want to normalize something right now. Some of the smartest people I know, executives, entrepreneurs, leaders, caregivers, quietly struggle with money. And many of them think they're the problem. They think, I should know better. Is that what you think? They say, why can't I get it together? Have you said that to yourself? And of course, what is wrong with me? Let me say this clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. Absolutely nothing. We've all been taught a lie. If I were smarter, I'd be better with money. I've heard this so many times, and I've said it to myself, but it's a lie. That money struggles mean a lack of intelligence or discipline. But money is not an intelligence test. It's a relationship. And relationships are shaped by experiences, emotion, and environment, not IQ. There are smart people making money, and there are not very smart people making money. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with what you decide your relationship with money is going to be. And I'm going to let you know, you already have a relationship with money that you may not even be consciously aware of. Why is that? Because you've known about money since you were a kid, but you've not known money since you were a kid. So what you were born into, you've been marinating in, but you've not been taught, okay? And you're definitely not alone there. So money struggles are not an intelligence issue. They are a mindset and conditioning issue, right? So money struggles are rarely what you know. They're about what you were taught, what you witnessed, what you experienced, and what you were never given a language for. As I said, most of us were taught how to survive, not how to build financial power, right? And in that environment of survival, there's not an opportunity to learn. It's like what I said earlier. When I first went out into the ice, I was in survival mode. I will not fall. I was not in thrive mode, which is I'm excited to learn this new skill. I'm prepared to slip and fall, lose my balance, get back up, try again, slip and fall, lose my balance, try again, feel wobbly, feel unsure, feel off balance. I'm prepared and I submit to that process. That is how you thrive. That is how you learn something, not in, I don't want anyone to think I don't know what I'm doing. Newsflash, breaking news, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know. I don't know how to skate. I want to learn how to skate, and it will take time. If you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, I believe it's Matrix 1, because that was the best one. There's a scene in it where Trinity, one of the main characters, and Neo, the other main character, are trapped in this space, and they are trying to figure out how to get out. And the only way out is this XJ9 helicopter. And he turns to her and says, "Do you know how to fly this helicopter?" And she goes, "I do now." So in a nanosecond, in the Matrix, she downloaded the information and immediately knew how to fly this helicopter. This is not real life. Real life is, it could take months, years even, for a person to learn how to fly a helicopter, right? So make the learning experience for yourself something you can enjoy, not something filled with shame and judgment and fear. When we were babies and we were learning to walk, we thought it was funny when we fell down because we didn't know judgment. We didn't know shame. We didn't know fear. We didn't know guilt. We weren't looking for validation. Bring yourself back to that and make learning something that you feel is fun, because you can, because it can be. So where did we learn this conditioning, right? We learned it in our families. Your money mindset conditioning comes from family, culture, survival experiences, and silence. Silence around money, right? If we think about our families, we think about the messages that we received growing up. We can't afford that. Money causes problems. You think money grows on trees? Just be grateful with what you have. Or maybe money was never talked about at all. You either asked for stuff and you were rejected, or you asked for stuff and it magically appeared. But you didn't know where it was coming from. You just heard about this thing, money, because everyone was talking about it, but not talking with you about it. And sometimes, and I know this was true in my family, even when I did ask, I was kind of shushed away, right? Like, this grown folks talk, these are adults talking. When in truth, they should have brought me in and talked to me about money. Parents, you have an amazing opportunity to establish the foundation of what your children think about money. A very small thing you can do, and a lot of us had this, was a piggy bank. Because when kids start to understand money, they understand the value of it, a quarter, a dime, a nickel, and that filling this piggy bank could be goal setting. They want a bike, they want these shoes, they want this iPad, whatever it is. And understanding the shoes cost $200, the iPad costs $500, whatever it is that they want, so that they understand, oh, I have 100 now. Oh, I got $250 for my birthday. Now I have $350. I'm so much closer. These are small things that normalize money with children. As my old pastor would say, that was free. Okay. So again, don't be the family that never talks about money at all. Also, you may have been in the family where money was spent like a never-ending waterfall. and you never learned its value or its cost. This is also very dangerous for children because when they become teenagers, they're just, I want this, I want this, I want that, because you always got it for me. So what's the difference? And at 16, 17, 18 is not the time to tell them this is expensive or we can't afford this, because their brains are like, for the last 16 years, you said yes to everything. So why are you saying no now? And that also creates an attitude towards you, and of course, because they're teenagers, and towards money itself. The worst thing that we can do is be silent. Silence is a conditioning tool, and it's a conditioning tool that is used often. If no one showed you how to manage money with confidence, how could you magically know how to do it now? Because if you are brought up in a way where it is not positive money knowledge, reinforcement, engagement, that does not prevent you from graduating from high school, going to college, getting a job, none of that. But it will impact how you spend your paycheck. It will impact how you choose your benefits. It will impact how you save your money, how you invest your money, how you're generous with your money. It will impact all of that. And again, parents, you have an excellent opportunity to prepare your children to have a much better relationship with money than you did. And hey, if you're like me and that did not happen, there's no time like the present to learn those things. You can start over. You can, right? So thinking about this, it's money is emotional before it's mathematical, right? So money is emotional before it's mathematical because it's tied to safety, worth, control, fear, and sometimes survival. So when you avoid your numbers, you overspend, undercharge, or freeze, that's not weakness. That's your nervous system trying to protect you. Because it's like, I don't know what this is, and I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to shut everything down. And that can become a cycle of how you live your life financially. I had a client who always did not know what she was going to have at the end of the month. So she would get paid, but had no idea if that was enough to cover the bills during the month. So she would pay what she can, but then she would save some to the end just in case. But that meant some other bills did not get paid, which meant that they would be late, which meant that they were fees. And then the whole cycle would start again. And this is because she didn't necessarily have a budget or a shame-free spending flow or a list of her expenses and what her income was so that she can actually do basic math. I make this much, I have this much expenses. When I subtract that, do I have something left over? Am I at zero? Or am I in the red? I actually need more money in order to pay the bills at the end of the month, right? So these are things, again, that we struggle with, right? But you don't have to struggle alone. You really don't, right? So thinking about this, most of us were never taught. This is the systemic gaps, right? We were never taught money without shame, systems that support real life, or how to feel safe with money. And let's be honest, most financial advice is shame-based, is one size fits all, assumes you're doing something wrong. And there are very few systems that honor your values, your lifestyle, or your emotional reality. So the issue isn't you, it's a lack of dignified systems, systems that take your dignity into thought, into consideration. So let's talk about the reframe, right? Awareness over avoidance. dignity over shame, systems over willpower. Reclaiming your financial power doesn't start with restriction or punishment. It starts with awareness. When you understand why you do what you do with money, you can choose differently without judgment. And you're not alone. You're becoming informed, empowered, and you're not broken, and it's not too late, and you're not too old. If money has ever felt heavy, confusing, or overwhelming, that does not mean you failed. It means you're waking up. Awareness is the first act of financial courage. And I believe you are all much stronger than you think. You have options. You have options. So this year, we're taking action with intention. And why are we doing that? Because we want to be different by December. If you want to be different by December, then execute with urgency. If today's conversation resonated and you're ready to go deeper, I invite you to join my Master Your Money workshop. Inside, I teach the exact 4 keys framework I use with my clients to help them manage their money and to really engage them in a way that makes them feel safe, right? So I encourage you, you can go and register at focusfire.life for keys, right? And when I tell you that folks come on and they really go in, because we've been carrying this for so long. And it's the top of the year. This is the best time to address this because I promise you it's only going to get harder, right? It's only going to get more difficult. It's only going to get more shameful. You have an opportunity today to break a cycle. And if you are a parent, then you can break it generationally. So when you're ready, whether you are a professional, entrepreneur, business owner, side hustler, when you're ready, I'd love to support you. Because I know, trust me, what you're going through. And I can tell you that this is the time to address this. Because you want to look back 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, and specifically in December to say, I am different. I submitted to the process. I leaned into the struggle. I learned what I needed to learn. I just humbled myself. I turned it over to God like, God, I do not know how to fix this, but I know you do. So bring the right people into my life. Bring the right opportunities for me to become a better steward of these resources, these funds that you've given me. I promise you, you will feel lighter. You will feel more in control. You will have more authority. So I want to thank you for joining me today. And again, if you are interested, focusfire.life, not .com, /4 keys, right? And join me. Join the movement, the community. You'll see how many other people are going through the same thing and want to be different by December. So thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. Please remember that what you desire, you deserve. And I'll see you next week on Money Talks Live.